Alright, and here I have someone who's willing to tell their adventure to me. So they're gonna introduce themselves and then just get into their story.
I'm Kai Rodriguez. Um, so, probably the most memorable adventure for me was last summer when my best friend Kaden came down from London, and we decided to go to. Do you want to hold it? We decided to go to Miami together, and in Miami there's 24-hour clubs. So we were like, okay, like we got this. We're gonna start pre-gaming at like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9. So we started pre-gaming hard. We got our Uber, and we got one of those Ubers where it's like carpool Uber. So somebody was already inside the Uber, right? And we're sitting next to him. Well, my best friend, he's in the front seat. I'm in the back with this random guy. This random guy just starts talking to us or whatever, and he's like super friendly. And he ends up like whispering in my ear. He was like, so, like, you like to party? And I was like, well, I'm going to a club. He was like, no, like, you like to party. And I was just like, I kind of felt like I knew what he was trying to say. And he drops a baggie in my lap. And inside the baggie, there was these pills. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to grab them. And I'm like, oh my God, can't the Uber driver hear this? Like, he can report this. Like, we need to be like... So I didn't say anything. I held on to it. And when we got out the car... We got out before he did, so I go up to my best friend, Kaden, and I'm like, Kaden, like, I just got this little baggie from him. And he was like, what is it? I was like, I don't know, he didn't tell me. And so I was just like, okay. And Kaden was like, you know what? F it, like, let's take them. And I was just like, you know what? Let's do it. So he grabbed one and I grabbed one. We had no idea what was in it till this day. Like, we have no idea. So then we go to this 24-hour club. I think it was called 11. We tried to get into Space first, I think is what it was called. But we couldn't get in because that was like $100. And we were like, no. But 11 was only like 35. So yeah, expensive. But still, it was like, you know what? We're in Miami. It's a 24-hour club. So you get your night's worth. Because it's like you're going to be there till 7 a.m. And my God, that drug hit, right? So we were up till 7 a.m. And we were inside. And once you're inside, we didn't know that it was like a strip club style. Like, we thought it was just a regular, like, club. And, dang, Florida was there. And so was the girl DJ from Full House. And we bumped into her. And literally, like, I recognized her, but I didn't, like, fully, like, I couldn't pinpoint where I knew her from. Like, it's like if you meet someone and you're just like, I know who they are. But I had no idea who she was at the moment, and we figured it out finally. But like, now we're starting to get super like high off of whatever we were on. So we're running around this whole club, literally trying to just like calm down because we have no idea what's going on. And honestly, to cut the short story like kind of short, because I don't really remember too much after that, it was around like 6 a.m. and I remember kind of coming back in, and I was like, Kaden, like, we have to go. Like, it's 6 a.m. Like, no one knows where we're at. Honestly, he had lost his phone at that point, and we were like, okay, let's call the Uber. And honestly, it was like, when you leave, like, someone's house, like, you're, like, in the morning, you look, like, super ratched or whatever. That's honestly what we looked like leaving that club. And on our way home to, like, grabbing the Uber, we just, like, it was like the walk of shame, but in an Uber leaving the club. And honestly, that was probably the best adventure I've ever had with my best friend, so.
Alright, here I found another person to tell their adventure story to me. And they're gonna introduce themselves and then get into their story.
Hi everyone, my name's Addison Miller. This is a story about a time I went to Italy. I went to Rome and Florence. So I was living in Spain, in Barcelona, flew over to Italy, got there around 2 o'clock in the morning, saw a lot of prostitutes on the street. It was a nice vibe going on with the old driver going to the hotel in the middle of the city of Florence. Yeah, and then there were crazies out in the middle of the street trying to get money from me and the person I went with. So then later on that night, it was a Friday night, we went out to a club called Axe, and it was really cool. Met some promoters, met some girls from other countries. We all linked up, went over, and then had a great time. But the person I went with got a little too drunk. She couldn't hold her own liquor, and then we ended up going home because in Italy they party until the sun rises. So around 7 a.m. went home, that had to go to Florence the next day. So, mind you, I prepared in advance, buying tickets, bus rides, everything. The time zone is different. They're on military time, which is 24 hours. But the person I went with didn't buy her ticket for the train to go from Rome to Florence. So I had to smuggle her on the train, okay? The attendee, she came on and she came to our seating, and then she asked us for our tickets. And then I kind of woke, like nodded the girl, like tapped her, but trying not to wake her up because she was sleeping because she was hungover from the night before. And then the attendant was like, hey, yeah, where are your tickets? And I'm like trying to wake up the girl. She never bought her ticket. So mind you, I smuggled her on the train. So then we get to Florence when it's time for us to get off, we like had to run off the train because the attendant was like, oh my God, like, where's your ticket? And we're like, oh, we don't speak Italian. Like, oh my God. And then so we went in the city of Florence, had a great, awesome time. Like, went to the museums, just all over, met cool, awesome people that I'm still friends with till this day. Then later that night, this girl who I went with, she, I don't know, not really street smart, I guess, but she like relied on me to get us from point A to point B. And then so when it was time for us to leave Florence, such a beautiful city, she blamed me for like missing like the time because it was like 10 something p.m. But in Europe they have the 24-hour clock, so it's not really my fault for forgetting the time, you know? It's both of us. We both bought a ticket. So then we had to pay extra to take a bus back to Rome where, you know, the parties are. And then so we got back to Rome and then went straight from Florence to the club that we went to the night before. And then after that, it was around 7 in the morning. No, it's around like 5 a.m. in the morning. So it was still dark. We left with the promoters. Oh God, this is where it gets dark. So we left with the promoters who invited us to the club the night before, and then they wanted to take us out to the after party. So the girl didn't consult with me asking me if I wanted to go. She just automatically told me, yeah, we can go. Oh my God, yeah. So it's 5 a.m. I'm thinking, oh my God, like, okay, like it's not really sitting right with my stomach. So then when it's time for us to leave with the promoters, they take us underground in the club. And then the bouncers, like, hey, where are you guys going? Like, the security, and they're like, but they're saying this in Italian. So I'm not understanding. The girl's not understanding. So we go in the underground garage where there's a Fiat, where the promoters get in the car. Then we get in with them. So me and the girl are sitting in the back seat. And she just not being so smart. She's like, okay, yeah, let's go with them. So I have no communication. I'm on WhatsApp about this to my mom, my location, letting her know, hey, like, if I get kidnapped or anything, like, this is where I am in Italy, and she's in Miami, can't even get to me. So then we actually end up going to a pizzeria, which was pretty cool, and like meeting the mama of the shop, and like I guess like a mafia kind of thing. So all in all, like we ended up being safe. We spent like 2 hours with the guys, and then we all went our separate ways, and then we walked the city of Rome and took pictures the next day, and everything was okay. So moral of the story is, know who you're traveling with when you do travel. Don't just up and go places because it could lead you into dangerous situations. So yeah.